All right, all right. Every black male lawyer should be talking about this. There should be thousands of videos on this. Because one thing that sour cream white people, not regular white people, and definitely not the good hip-hop white people, because the hip-hop white people don't mind blackness. And, you know, the regular white folks, you know, they not really tripping off blackness. But it's the sour cream white people that are really like, you know, I'm going to put the optics of what I want to see over consistency, over decorum. I'm going to be inconsistent. And I'm really going off of optics and identity politics. You know, Ronald Reagan started identity politics, or at least popularized it at a grand scale. But I'm going to avoid all of that. I'm going to be inconsistent in this moment as it relates to law and policy. As a true conservative, a true Burke conservative, and as you know, Burke created conservatism, you know, be consistent. Be about the land and the people. Don't pick and choose based on the optics you would prefer to see. And that's what I think that sour cream people do. They go off what they would prefer to see. It's the same thing that I say about 50% of black folks who practice goofiness. They just want everything that relates to entertainment and fun. That's inconsistent. Very, very inconsistent. I'm going to give 50% of those black folks the same smoke that I give 50% of the white folks. And the good white folks, I don't give them no smoke. It's the sour cream white folks that I don't understand. Because the sour cream white folks do the exact same thing the goofy black folks do. Okay? So, let's dig into it. Judge John R. protects his colleague. If you're a city official, if you're a former city official, and the people feel that you did something wrong, the judge should get out the way, because it's up to the jury to decide whether this person truly did something wrong, because this person has conveniently left. Well, not conveniently left. They were voted out by the people. And so now, you as the judge, you shouldn't get in the way of the people. 'Cause, see, the people got to put up money. The people got to put up time. The people got to have their taxes drained to go after this city official. So you, as a city official, should not get in the way of that. That's being inconsistent. Because here in the USA, you constantly say it's about the law. Just follow the law. Just do what's right. Just don't resist. Yet, when it's time for the law, and this goes all the way back to the days of Sheriff Bass, just the inconsistency. So, sorry for the monologue. Let's get into the meat of it. The judge decides nothing to see here. I, as Judge John Turner, have decided the jury don't need to hear this. So it's kind of like when Sean O'Malley was fighting Funkmaster. And even though I'm not a fan of Funkmaster, what happened wasn't right. What happened wasn't right. Funkmaster's beating this guy the whole darn thing. The guy is backing up. Funkmaster wants to put on a good fight, so he lunges. Sean O'Malley catches him. He falls down, and Sean O'Malley's trying to hit him, and Funkmaster is turning around like a turtle. He's not covering up. He's just turning. He's moving. And then the referee jumps in and said, nope, I'm going to give O'Malley the win. What? Whoa, I don't even like Funkmaster, but what are you doing inserting yourself in that fight? That guy is still intelligently moving, trying to avoid the punches. He's on his back. He doesn't have to kick back or punch back. What are you doing? And you instantly give a guy a championship when the promoter let him come up a weight class and fight nobody but straight for the belt. Whoa. And this guy is Mexican. Are we just doing this off optics? What is going on here? And it's the same thing with Judge John R. It's the same identical thing. You're helping your professional colleague get away with doing something. So here's what actually Jackie Johnson did. And it's sad that the journalists, I've read probably 8 journalist takes on this, and they always avoid this fact. The police contacted the DA. The DA said, quote, "No, don't do no arrest." Judge said, the police said, "No, but technically we should arrest them because it's 3 people with a gun surrounded by a dead body with no gun, no weapon." I mean, as officers, we would arrest black folk if, now he didn't say this part, but we would arrest black folks if it was 3 black people surrounded by a white guy that's dead with no weapon. So, no, Jackie Johnson says, I vouch for them. They are not a flight risk. Quote. And Judge John R. says that's not evidence that she interfered? What? Allowing them to go home for 2 months until another guy finally got put in charge of the case and he said nothing to see here? Wait a minute, hold on. So under a regular police investigation on that day, we are 4 to 8 miles away. No, 4 miles. 4 miles away from where this allegedly happened. You don't even own that property. So I'm just supposed to believe that because you're from the area that, I'm supposed to believe it because you're connected to the DA who told me that you're not a flight risk. Why can't the jury hear that? And the judge, inserted himself. And the biggest thing, this is my part 1 of this. The biggest thing you got to understand about this is, as black folks, we're not together enough to go and unseat that judge. That judge needs to be unseated. John R. We need to be making videos everywhere about John R. Anybody, but guess what? The white people are going to make more videos about it than the black people. So this is why I tell you guys, sour cream people only get away with stuff because black folks is too busy arguing with black folks. And so when you strategically, as C-Lay Trey, say, hey, strategically, we need to bring this to national attention because that's not the law. Even the police are like, huh? You don't want us to arrest this person? No, quote, they are not a flight risk. Huh? Now, this guy is not working for her at this point. He used to work for her. This guy fabricated he had police credentials while he was working with her. Turned out he never did. He never passed the darn post-certification. What? I know more detail than most journalists. Look, I'm not even in Georgia right now. And I know more. But this is the problem. The mouthy black people don't put their energy toward the real war. Verbal, political conversations. It's always the social and dating conversation. Matter of fact, let me not go off on that. I got to make a total another video for that. Here's part one of my point again. Judge John R. inserted himself, John R. Turner, and wouldn't allow the jury to hear this whole thing. He just threw it all out. And then, like a coward, turned to the mother and said, I'm sorry. And it's a technicality. Technicality of what? What is the proof of this technicality? And even the journalists are like, technicality. There is no technicality. He decided that he did not see the evidence of her saying, let them go home. For let them go home. Do not arrest them on the scene. Just go off what they have told you. Even another woman who was trying to get on the jury said she don't see what Jackie Johnson did wrong. She don't see it because she doesn't have the full information. Once again, you are an officer. You arrive on the scene. There are 3 Chinese dudes surrounded by a Filipino. The Filipino's dead. The Chinese people have a weapon, have several weapons. And the Chinese people say, hey, he was stealing some wood. You as the police officer are like, what wood? Where? Where is the wood that was stolen? Well, he left it back at the place. But you just said he was stealing wood. Okay. So how did he get dead? Well, he reached for the gun. Why do you have guns? Well, just in case he was armed, but he's not armed. So again, why have you engaged him to the point where he is dead with no weapon? And we're 4 miles or 3 miles away from where this allegedly happened, and there's 3 of you here with weapons. What's going on? Well, he was a burglar. Okay, let me call my superiors. Hey, yeah, this is the DA, Jackie Johnson. Do not arrest. No, I want to arrest. This is what the officer said he wants to arrest. And the judge is like, I don't see no evidence. I don't see no evidence. Huh? I want to arrest. And she says, no, do not arrest. This is her words. Do not arrest. They are not a flight risk. And the judge doesn't want the jury to hear that? Send this to every lawyer you know. Send this to every person on. I just want to understand this part. You are a judge inserting yourself because you believe that that conversation is not enough. So they go, and for 2 months, nobody does nothing. Nobody investigates the burglary scene. Nobody asks for video information from the actual owners. They already determined that these 3 people do not own that place. The police are just taking the word of friends of friends of friends. These are people who are connected. We just gonna take their word for it because they live up here. So where is the policing at? Where is the actual law being done? Okay, cool. So another guy who works at the DA, he's like, oh, that ain't right. So he snitches, right? They appoint another guy from a different county. That guy says nothing to see here. Barnhill or Barnhole. I would love to interview Barnhole, how he decides there's nothing to see there. Again, USA is inconsistent on laws and policies. It's all about optics. And I don't want to hear from the black folk, man, we know, ain't nothing we can do, we know. No, you can't do nothing but get in the way. Let the people who really want to have a conversation have a conversation. Because as I keep saying, I really don't blame a lot of sour cream people. I don't blame a lot of white folks. I don't blame hip-hop white folks. Black people and the lack of black intellectuals is the reason why other races get to urinate on blacks. Because we got so many goofy dudes that's constantly on the microphone wanting to be heard. Well, ain't nothing we can do. They. Man, get out the way, bro. Get out the way. We heard your 8 paragraphs on they, them, and ain't nothing you can do. I get it. I just amazed how nobody talks about the inconsistency of law. Except the people who are not in legal. The journalists, the people who are trying to create a narrative. Technicality. What technicality? There is no technicality. It's one judge decided that conversation with the officer was not enough for the jury to hear. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think.